ahead on 12 News, several developments involving Maple Grove, from a case of neighborhood vandalism.
I don't understand why some children would find that exciting.
To a Maple Grove man who turns glass into art.
It's kind of like writing music.
But first, the mystery deepens in the search for a missing Maple Grove girl. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We begin with the expanded search for Amy Pagnac. She was 13 years old when she disappeared in 1989, and while she still hasn't been found, investigators haven't stopped looking.
That search continued today at the property owned by the Pagnac family in rural Isanti County. This follows a search last month of Amy's Maple Grove home. 12 News reporter Carissa Wyant has been following the developments.
I think every day that goes by, we're closer to finding Amy.
This rural area in Isanti County has become the center of the search for Amy Pagnac, a 13-year-old Maple Grove girl who was reported missing by her parents nearly 25 years ago.
We have technology available to us. We have teams available to us that have led to us being able to come and do a search warrant up here.
Last month, police searched the family's home in Maple Grove. They still haven't said what they found or what they are looking for.
Until she's found, we don't know if she's alive or not alive. Our goal is to find her.
Carol Watson, who heads Missing Children Minnesota, works with the Pagnac family. She says they're grateful for the attention their daughter's case is getting after all these years.
It's very demoralizing for the family to keep on going day after day, year after year, and not see activities.
Meanwhile, Maple Grove police are partnering with the FBI and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in what has become a round-the-clock search in Isanti County.
Our crime scene team is made of forensic scientists that are trained to process crime scenes, look for physical evidence, things like that.
Neighbors of the wooded property say police conducted a similar search here about 4 years ago.
They just had big barrels and a lot of big trucks and the same, heavy equipment.
There's no word on how long the search will continue.
This is important to us, and it's important to the Maple Grove community to bring her home. And we will not stop looking for her till we find her.
Reporting in Isanti County, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
Amy's family believes Amy is still alive. She would turn 38 on June 15th.
Maple Grove police call vandalism in a Maple Grove neighborhood senseless, and neighbors say it's not the first time they've been targeted. Someone came through the 18,000 block of 70th Place North and hacked at 6 trees. Police say it happened sometime between 10 p.m. Monday and 5 o'clock Tuesday morning. The trees were cut at odd angles. Some had trunks 8 inches in diameter. Neighbors worked to save what trees they could.
I would tend to believe it's a hatchet, chipped out, and about portion of the way, then they pushed the tree over. I was lucky enough that they left a small portion of the bark on the back side, so I'd probably say I have a 30% chance of saving this tree.
Another neighbor told us someone sprayed the block with paintballs last December. And if you have any information on the vandals, you are asked to call Maple Grove Police.
A hazardous home that's been an eyesore in a Robbinsdale neighborhood for years won't be a problem for much longer. This duplex on the 3800 block of Major Avenue has issues ranging from foundation cracks to a deteriorating roof, and that's just on the outside. On the inside, city officials found mold, water damage, and rodent feces. Repeated attempts to get the owner to repair the vacant home have been unsuccessful. At Tuesday night's council meeting, the city took steps to demolish the home and the adjacent garage.
I think that's great. I know myself and a lot of other people in the neighborhood have been hoping they would take action. So I'm really happy to hear that they're finally doing something.
City officials say they'll give the property owner and lien holders one final chance to make repairs. If the problems aren't addressed, the city will go to court to get approval for demolition.
Now that all the candidates have filed, the breakdown of political races begins. And Tuesday, we told you about races impacting Brooklyn Park, and today we look at races affecting Maple Grove and Plymouth. In House District 34B, someone new will be elected to office. That's the seat previously held by Kurt Zellers, who is running for governor. The candidates are Republican Dennis Smith and DFLer David Hoden, both of Maple Grove. Hoden ran in 2012 against Zellers, losing by about 2,000 votes. In House District 44A, Republican incumbent Sarah Anderson of Plymouth will be up against DFLer Audrey Britton of Plymouth. And this is the third straight election Britton has challenged Anderson. She lost to Anderson by only 600 votes 2 years ago.
Remodeling Brooklyn Park's 85th Avenue police station is proving to be more expensive than expected. In April, bids came in $1.5 million higher than engineers estimated due to rising construction costs. Since then, city officials made cuts to the plans. The project now stands at just over $9 million, about 4% higher than expected. The plans include building a heated parking garage for 40 police cars, expanded storage for evidence, and upgrades to the jail. Police say they need the extra space to keep up with a growing city. One council member voted against the project, saying borrowing more than $9 million will raise taxes. A Maple Grove man is taking stained glass art to a whole new level.
12 News reporter Sonia Goins introduces us to Mac McMillan.
This is my studio.
In the basement of this Maple Grove home
I spent a month cutting. There's about 700 pieces in that.
lies a menagerie of stained glass masterpieces.
Every piece you see, I call myself a puzzle maker in glass. Each individual piece is cut out of glass, and then each piece has to fit together.
Mac McMillan says deep down inside, he's always had a passion for art.
I've been at this glass for almost 40 years, so I make all my paper patterns. These are going to be hung. I've got some spots in the back where I'll hang them. You wrap each piece of glass with this copper foil tape. I have no idea how I got so involved in it.
But art wasn't his only gig.
I was called a crew chief.
Mac also served in the Marine Corps.
And so when he come back, then I'd go through the airplane again and go through all the different hydraulic, electronic stages.
While stationed in Hawaii, he fell in love with a stained glass window at a church.
And I was blown away. The colors, the sun was coming in, and I sat in this pew kind of backwards looking at this window.
He decided to teach himself how to make the pretty panels of colorful glass.
I don't know, it was just something that I felt I had to do. It was just weird.
He's been working his magic with glass ever since.
I've done a nice clean edge here.
You can see Mac's work all over the metro. He did the windows at St. Barnabas Church in Plymouth.
The lady said, "Can you do some Celtic designs for me?" And I said, "Well, sure."
He also created custom stained glass light boxes.
And it's been so much fun getting into it.
Mac says he wants to keep growing as an artist.
Every piece you're trying to make it as best you can and make it better than ever before. You keep trying to improve yourself.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
You can check out Mac's works at the upcoming Maple Grove Days Art Fair, July 9th through the 13th, and we've also put a link to his website on ours at 12.tv. And not being an artist, I'm always amazed at what those guys can do.
Nice work.
Yeah. Well, coming up, plugging another money leak.
And this time, 12 News Money Savers takes a closer look at bank fees. And then a little bit later in sports, Wayzata takes on Elk River in the state boys tennis semifinals.
But first, could it be another weekend washout? There is a growing chance for more heavy rain on Saturday. A few dollars and cents here and there can add up to a big leak in your household budget.
And banks large and small can charge a variety of fees. In today's Money Savers Report, Shannon Slatton shares what fees may be sending your cash right down the money drain.
A new report outranks Minnesota as number 14 in a list of states with affordable banking. This means it's very average in terms of the return on your savings accounts and the cost of fees. But every penny can add up, and here's what you should look for.
In the last few years, the regulatory environment changed with Dodd-Frank, and a lot of banks aren't making some of the same fees they were in different areas, so they've added these minimum fees.
One of the most common fees is on your checking account. If you don't have a minimum balance, you could be charged $10 to $15 a month.
What my recommendation is to look for, one, make sure you stay above the minimum.
If you can't do that, look for a bank that offers truly free checking, or try a credit union that might offer a lower minimum balance requirement.
Overdraft fees can kill your financial plan quickly.
The cost of overdrawing your account can also be a costly one. Overdraft fees continue to rise, with the average now being more than $30 per transaction.
If we use our debit card for a $2 purchase or coffee at Starbucks, you might find out that you spent 10 times more in terms of overdraft charges.
Then, pesky ATM fees. Sometimes grabbing quick cash at an ATM in a gas station requires a fee from the ATM and again from your bank.
So that $20 you took out might have cost you $5. And if we're thinking of that like a financial decision, that's a pretty terrible interest rate.
The solution? Shop around for a bank with a network that fits your needs. Next, check your savings account. Interest rates are very low now, so you might consider switching to an online brokerage account for a better return. It keeps you from spending money right away, pays a higher interest rate, and
third, and I think importantly, you have access to easily invest from those accounts at the click of a button, where you can maybe find some better places to park your money while still keeping it pretty easily accessible.
And finally, if you still write checks, be careful how much you spend on those. If you pay through your bank, you can pay $25 to $40. You can order them online, though, for $10.
Yeah.
So that adds up.
It does. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Shannon. Coming up, as school lets out, some students let loose to old school 80s tunes.
But first, the Maple Grove softball team gets set for the state tournament. We have a preview of the Crimson next in sports. It's the time of year teams are in section finals, lots of section finals, and hoping to make that next step to state.
Yeah, good competitive teams in Section 6, especially these teams that made the final this year. The Blake School and Benilde-St. Margaret's have both built strong programs in boys and girls lacrosse. Those two schools were matched up in the Section 6 championship games Tuesday night. Top-seeded Blake and second-seeded Benilde meeting for the boys' title. First quarter, and Blake's Quinn Ellis with a nice move to get away from the defender, and his goal gives the Bears a 2-0 lead. Benilde's Michael Naughton on the run spots Thomas Ludke in close for the shot and goal. It's a 2-1 game through one. Second quarter, Blake starts to take over. Grant Oy to Tom Bauer, who buries the shot. That goal makes it 5-1 Bears. Down 8-1, Benilde gets one back. Josh Workmeister for the goal. Benilde, though, trailing 9-2 at halftime. Griffin Allen scores for Benilde early in the third quarter off an assist from Workmeister, but Blake is just too good. The Bears will work the ball to Ellis for the shot and goal here. Blake wins 11-6, and they advance to next week's state tournament. In the girls' finals, Benilde trying to knock off the four-time defending state champions from Blake. First half, nice spin move by Kelly Pagnac to free herself, and she scores to give Benilde the 1-0 lead. But the high-powered Bears respond. Olivia Nolan to Ann Slusser. Blake leads 2-1. Down 3-1, Benilde scores again. It's Pagnac faking and then shooting and scoring, and pulls the Red Knights to within one at 3-2. But that would be as close as they get. Nolan from the free position shoots high into the Benilde net here. That makes it 5-2 Blake. Annie Lyman rips home another one from the free position. The Bears lead 9-2 at the half. Blake is headed back to the state tournament with a 17-3 win over Benilde-St. Margaret's. The team portion of the state boys tennis tournament wraps up today. The Wayzata boys took on Elk River in the Class AA semifinals. A good one at number one singles. Nick Beatty of Wayzata with a forehand to one corner and overhead to the other. Soft touch wins the point. Beatty beats Josh Giroux. Hank Lee of Wayzata's in the near court at second singles, coming up here against Samuel Giroux. Good forehand sets up a soft volley for Lee, but Giroux wins the match 6-2, 6-3. To first doubles, Jake Strom, the serve, and Steele Kowalczyk puts it away as the Trojans win 6-1. They're playing Lake Conference rival Minnetonka for the state title at this taping of 12 News. We'll have highlights of that match Thursday at 4. In Class A, Breck falls to rival Blake in the semifinals 7-0. The Mustangs drop into the third place match against Thief River Falls. The state softball tournament starts Thursday. Maple Grove is in the Class 3A tournament for a third straight season. As Jay Wilcox reports, it's a team with a good chance to contend for the title.
To third. Throw across in time, and Maple Grove wins the section championship. It's back-to-back-to-back trips to state for Maple Grove, and it does not get old.
I just can't think in any sense how this would get old. It's what the kids play for. It's what you coach for. It's a lot of excitement.
Maple Grove lost the first game of the Section 5 3A final against Spring Lake Park before bouncing back to hammer the Panthers 13-1 in the second game. The loss got Maple Grove's attention.
The result after the first game really motivated us to come back and win the second game, so it was definitely a good way to give us a close game and push us, so it was good.
Up first at state, New Prague, a team that scored some upsets to win the tough Section 2 tourney.
They weren't the team I thought was going to come out of there, but after I went down there on Saturday during their Saturday tournament during the Memorial Weekend, I started watching them and I saw them handle Chanhassen and I was like, wow, this team's pretty good.
There may not be a clear favorite in Class 3A. The Crimson have as good a chance as anyone.
Oh, definitely. I have confidence in every single person on my team, and I just hope that we can get to that championship game, but we're going to play as hard as we can every single game.
They have some experience, speed, and a dominant pitcher in Sydney Smith. Sounds like a winning formula. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Maple Grove plays New Prague in the Class 3A quarterfinals Thursday at 11 a.m. at Caswell Park in North Mankato. Win or lose, they'll play a second game later on Thursday. But with Sydney Smith and that lineup, they've got a chance to win it down in Mankato in the next couple of days.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, elementary students take to the stage with some music that their parents might recall.
Basswood elementary students take on tunes from yesteryear when we come back. And finally, it's an end of the school year tradition at a Maple Grove elementary school.
Think sixth graders, a lip sync contest, and music from the 1980s. Never mind that Styx song came out 20 years before they were born. These Basswood sixth graders got creative with Mr. Roboto for their school's Basswood Idol lip sync competition. It wasn't all old school music though. This group of energetic boys got the panel of judges into it and brought the house down with their Maroon 5 version of Moves Like Jagger. The contest is a tradition for sixth graders as they leave the elementary school and head to junior high, and there's nothing but pride on the line.
It's the honor of being the Basswood Idol. There's no monetary or record labels or anything that comes with this.
This is the 10th year that the school has held the lip sync competition, and the teachers used to require 80s music because they said they wanted to enrich the students' music knowledge, but now they said they can sing whatever, they can lip sync whatever they want to sing. So a little combination there, fun act.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corners coming up next, and we'll see you again tomorrow starting at 4.